This is an MK4 Jetta. The trunk release isn't working. The motorized one, you can hear it here. And then when we lift on it, it won't open up. Now normally when you turn this key to the left, it just hits the actuator, but you can push it a little further. There's a little resistance in there, but that's the actual trunk release, because there's no manual release on the inside. I swore I'd seen one before, but I've crawled all around inside there. But the trick for this, turn that to the left, and then it takes a little extra force. And now we can open this thing up, and we'll take these Phillips heads out all the way around the perimeter. We'll take these Phillips heads out that are a little fuzzy from this carpet being like sprayed in there, or whatever the heck that's, flocking or whatever that's called. You can see there's no releases, but I'll take this off and we'll get back and we'll see what's going on with this mechanism. So here we're underneath the truck lid. Let me back up so you can see what we're looking at. Here's the back of the lock mechanism. Here's the actuator. When I hit the button, you can see it move. I'll show you that, I guess. And you can see it's not actually actuating this because of that broken piece there, where it's hard to point and hold that open, that broken piece up in here. And I'm going to show you how the mechanism works. Here's me turning the key on the back of that lock, and you can see that arm actually operates this mechanism. So that's how, when you push that key further, it actually opens it manually. So we're obviously going to have to replace some parts or put some sort of repair kit in here to attach that actuation arm to the rest of this mechanism. So here we are again looking at our mechanism. There's three basic options for fixing this. There's one option, is an invention by a guy that's by far the easiest to install, where there's a custom made piece that kind of wraps around in here, and then there'll be a bracket you hold that in place with by bolting into these two little nuts here, rib nut type deals, whatever the heck them are called. Those are threaded is what I'm getting at, and that plate will hold that in position. It's jettatrunk.com. That part's about 30 bucks, and then it's going to cost, I don't know, 10 or 12 bucks shipped to you. So it's a decent price, but it's not the cheapest alternative. You can buy a whole brand new piece like this here for like 10 or 12 bucks currently shipped to you, or you can buy a new arm that's made of aluminum, so it'll be stronger. The problem is, when you get that plate off, you can see this is like riveted in place, and so when you put that new one on, the aluminum one, it's going to be a fair amount of labor switching that out. So this is the cheapest way to go, and so we're going to disassemble this and pull that bracket out with this little arm on it. So first things first, we got to pop these guys out. I'm going to do that one off camera with two hands, and then we'll take these nuts out. They're 10 millimeter. You're going to need a deep well socket to get to those. I'll cut back to you. We'll have to unplug this. Looks like you have to press that in. Pull the one. I got to get to the other side too, so I'm going to need two hands for that. Pull those two tabs in and unplug it. Then we'll take this whole thing out, and we'll move this over to our new assembly here. So here's our old one pulled out of here. Got those bolts out. It's easier to get to the two tabs, the one tab on either side of that plug, to pinch them in after you've pulled that whole bracket out of the way. So there's our bracket. The top arm fell off. When you flip it over, you'll expose the Torx heads bolts that hold this mechanism in. Those are a T20, I believe. Spin this around. There you go. T20 Torx head. And we'll switch that over to our new unit and put our arms back in position and reassemble it. So we got our new one all back together. When you put these arms in, you're going to have to lift these tabs up. Obviously, you put them in like that, then lift this tab up and rotate it forward. This one's a lot tighter fit because you have to lift this up over that lip here. So hopefully your new one doesn't break. That would really stink. But that's how you have to rotate them in. We're ready to put it back together. The other thing is one of these little insert things that's threaded was spinning around on me as I was tightening up the Torx bolt. So you might have to put some pressure on this to get it to go ahead and tighten down. But it's ready to go back together. A couple notes. To get these sockets back in, you might have to get a pair of needle nose pliers and pinch it back together like that. And when you're separating them, you might have to rotate that a little bit to get a screwdriver in there to pop that loose. And this harness, you want to make sure this harness doesn't get stuck in behind that bracket and you pinch those wires off. Otherwise, it's a really simple installation. We're going to put this cover back on, or we're going to test it, and then we're going to put that cover back on. We got it all back together. We're going to test it here. That's working. This whole process took like 15 minutes, maybe 10 to 15 minutes to change this out. I don't think I would buy anything expensive to get this replaced, since this whole piece is so cheap. I would just replace it. Really simple process. Thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful.